Hello and welcome to the Kind of Sort of Maybe show. We're here today, a special topic today, and let's introduce ourselves. My name is Jim Zavala. You can find me at Twitter at JimZ3.
I'm Claudia, and you can find me at Claudia V. Lemus.
I'm Melinda. You can find me at Melinda Lene.
And recently we launched our official Twitter account, which you can find at KOM Show. So find us on Twitter, and that'd be great. Thanks for following us. If you do follow us, and you know who you are, our two fans.
We have
three fans, and abuelita and grandma.
Thanks, Mom, Dad,
thanks, Mom, Dad, and grandma. So anyways, we have a special topic today. Something happened yesterday, not to date. We had the first debate, and we had a lot of thoughts on it. And let's just jump right into it. And right now, today's special guest, what are we, like correspondents or pundits?
We're political debate correspondents, I think.
Yeah, so that's what we are today. I guess all you got to do is call yourself that, and you are that. So that's what we are.
It's America.
It's America. So we had the debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and it was pretty amazing. I was really worried about it. I guess maybe let's just jump right into it. Claudia, do you want to take the lead?
Yeah, no, I actually don't remember following the debate so passionately, but this year I was just super curious. So what did you guys think? This is the first debate before the elections,
Well, I guess leading up to it, we had some crazy debates with I know the Republican debates were very entertaining. That's one thing that was, I think, really different from the past years. Since I'm an old man, I voted not in 2000 because I was too young for that, but in the 2004 and the 2008 election, and of course the 2012 election, I voted. Yeah, I'm old.
I know.
I've lived through so many presidents back in my day, So yeah, I had that, which was really amazing to see, and different, so different. You had the presidential thing was such a high standard, all those candidates, high standards, and this, unfortunately, for the Republican candidates, you had all these really qualified people, and it seemed like nobody called him out on it, and he got to where he is today. You believe what you want to believe, but ultimately, I don't know, is that the best you could do, kind of thing? I'm sorry. What about you, Melinda?
Yeah, I am a political news junkie, so I have been following, I follow campaigns, whether it's election, presidential election season or not. And this one for sure is different from all sides of it, I think, not just as a voter, but as from, the journalistic side of it, the way reporters have been covering this campaign has just been so different from years past, because you have Donald Trump, on one side you have, Hillary Clinton, who has years and years and years of experience. On the other side, you have Donald Trump, who you find yourself always having to fact check. Within the first 5 minutes of the debate, we were already seeing fact checks from things that Donald Trump was saying. Yeah. And it's just so crazy to me that we're at this point, So, this debate, I had been looking forward to it for, a long, long, long time. And watching it, I wasn't expecting it to have so much substance in terms of the issues that we're going to talk about. I knew it was going to be a show.
Sure.
And at the beginning of it, as we could, they were asking, the moderator was asking, plenty of questions. The second half of it, you saw where it turned into a show. There was a shouting match with basically just Donald Trump, I think.
Sure, he was shouting against himself.
How did you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I was kind of nervous leading up to the debate. I'm like, what if, Donald Trump actually steps up to it and prepares, and what if he's actually there presently, he researched, and I was just
did his homework,
scared, this is his moment to turn everything around. Right. But no, he did not. He was the same Donald Trump we've been seeing since the beginning, just very erratic. His no control over his comments, no facts, a lot of his comments towards Hillary and his responses, he either deflected the questions and he didn't answer them.
What he's known for also.
He repeated what he's been repeating since the beginning, which is, the loss of jobs, and America's companies are leaving, that he's going to create millions and millions of jobs. Did he give a figure of how many jobs he's going to create? Did he give a solution?
Or
Did
plan.
He give a
there
plan?
Was no plan, yeah.
Nothing. He just kept repeating the same thing over and over. He opened his statement with it and he closed with it. And it's like, it was what he's been doing since the beginning. And I had hoped that after the debate was over, that people would be like, no, he didn't change. But his supporters are still supporting him. And although he didn't gain new followers from what commentators were saying, that he kept his base, and that's the sad part.
What's funny, I spoke to one of our coworkers in the building, and I was talking to him about, like, when you watch a debate, and I remember in the 2012 election watching between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, the first debate Mitt Romney and Barack Obama had, Barack Obama won. The president won that first debate, hands down. The second debate, Mitt Romney won it. And I could see that. I was like, oh man, why didn't you defend yourself? Why? Like, there's a certain point where, Mitt Romney accused him of something that was completely wrong, and he just kind of he wasn't ready, he was tired, whatever it was, he wasn't in the right mindset for that debate. And I could tell that, and I can admit he lost that debate. But that's not the case with a lot of people. A lot of people, they're stand by their candidate. He does no wrong, and that's not what should happen. Sure, Hillary Clinton isn't the perfect person, but she's the most qualified.
And I think a lot of people don't see that, especially a lot of the Bernie supporters. They say, the candidate I wanted isn't there, so I'm going to just not vote at all at this one. But that's giving points, figuratively speaking, to Trump. If you don't want him to win, then vote for Hillary. She may not be your first choice, but she's the most qualified one, and she'll get the job done, I think. At least more, I think, than Donald Trump would. Exactly.
That's one thing that I felt with Hillary. Like, I supported her, and when we first started this whole election cycle, I was kind of hoping that the vice president would throw his hat in. I was really looking forward to that. And then it didn't happen, and I was okay with that. But at that point, when Hillary started gaining momentum, with the primaries and all those debates, they held pretty civil, not unlike the Republican side where it was just a show, like you said. And there's so many fun. It's sad. I was really entertained. I had to watch the Republican debate, and those were entertaining. And the spectacle of it, and just like, what is he going to say next? And that's kind of still what happens. And especially with like the tweets, the whole thing where she kind of had these lines, which was very planned and strategic and intelligent. She had so many sick burns in there. Like, there were some things, which was funny. I was on Twitter and I was looking at all the conversations, and after she'd say something, I'd go on Twitter and kind of quote her, and like really sick burns. Like, it was really entertaining also. She was prepared. Obviously she was prepared.
Yeah, up to this point I was really unsure about Hillary. I was like, I'm definitely not for Trump, but I was like, this Hillary still, I wasn't 100% sure for her, because I was like, okay, people are just voting for her. I didn't really know what she stood for. And last night, hearing her speak, she was prepared. She knew her stuff. I feel like she's the right person. She's the next president. She has what it takes. She has so much experience. She knows what she's talking about. I was just very impressed with the way she carried herself, and the way she took on Trump. I really liked how she she didn't let him have the final word, and he's used to that. He's used to what he says. He shuts up the media when he speaks. People have to listen because he yells. But I really liked when those moments when she was like, she injected like her little comments, and she just took on him. She argued. It kind of turned into a show, but at the same time she held her ground, and I really liked that. Like that one line that you quoted that I loved as well. The whole, we know that your life is a reality, right?
It says,
you live in your own little world.
Donald, I know you live in your own reality.
Yeah. I was like,
I wrote that one down.
I was cheering. It was just such an awesome moment.
Yeah, little things like those words, she had them ready, and those kind of one-liners, and when you actually look at the facts, whatever you're saying, but when you actually look at the facts, like, none of that is true. That was very cool. And the whole temperamental thing where he mentioned that, it's like, and
the whole country just
laughed.
They laughed. Everyone knew.
The people there.
Yeah.
And so I guess with that, like the control of the debate, did you see, I know Lester Holt, you shared something on Facebook that Lester Holt didn't really moderate. There was a point where Trump was talking over her, and I was like, moderate. And
so y'all felt he needed to moderate more?
I felt he needed to step in.
Well, like the title is moderator, isn't he?
But it's also a debate. And he allowed them to debate each other, which I think was a lot of the anticipation, for this debate was for them to, for the entire campaign, we've seen Hillary attacking Donald Trump. We've seen Donald Trump attacking Hillary. They've never attacked each other live. We've never seen that. So it added to the show that they were finally fighting each other. And I don't know if it was more for the spectacle or he was just letting them debate or have it out with each other. So y'all felt he needed to... At
a certain point, I did feel, because I guess every debate is different. You do have that moderator. You have those questions. But what I did like that Lester Holt did is he did ask some tough questions that, he put him to task. The birther question, the tax return question, that was really important, that conversation to have. Like you spend your whole campaign, you start your whole campaign with this notion, you get that support, and then you immediately turn it around and no, I really don't believe in that, and he tried to spin that, but as best as he can, and he couldn't. So I don't know, as far as moderating, I think I was maybe used to it. There's a certain part where it got kind of out of hand. Maybe at that point it's like, all right, reset it. Let's stop. Let's start. This is a question. And I did like when Trump deflected the question. Back to the question that you follow up. You did not answer this question again. So what do you feel about this? So that was really strong of him. And again, Trump didn't answer. But that's one thing that I think I was maybe expecting, a little more organization. But you're right. You're having them both, and you can kind of see where she kept her cool and he didn't keep his cool.
Yeah, the entire thing was, a lot of the second half of it was him talking over her, screaming at her. And I was getting so upset by that, because, and she kept her cool, which I thought was so cool, because I wouldn't have. And
really? Are you sure?
And you saw some of that today, so yeah, she probably wouldn't. Don't make her mad.
No, but I really like that. But from the social media side of it, because the three of us were pretty much, texting each other throughout it, and we were all on Twitter throughout the entire thing. How did you see it? Because as you mentioned about the first debate, the Romney campaign said that within the first 15 minutes, they knew that they were going to lose the campaign. Based on social media, what the responses that they were getting, and it just stayed that way. And it's just so important. I think is important the how vital social media plays in this day and age. How everything is going by so fast. And I was on Twitter the entire debate,
definitely.
And everything as I was thinking or as I was seeing, it was already on Twitter. And I thought that was so cool. I mean, how did you guys?
I loved it. Like that quote that we just said, about Donald, we know you live in your own reality. Like I was about to tweet it, and there was already a meme like ready with a perfect picture by the Huffington Post, and I was like, whoa, they beat me. Then I followed all the live blogs that they were tweeting the quotes, and it was just wow, and it was cool to see that the same thoughts that I was having, like there were so many people already having them, and I loved it. I mean, I can see how in this day and age, it's immediate. We're not going to wait till the debate is over to go on social media. We're like on the moment.
It's become I guess, what do you call it? Where it's a mass, so many people are, I don't know did you hear any numbers on how it drew? How many people it drew?
81 million.
81 million. Yeah. Wow. Did they compare it to any sort of other event?
I'm not sure. I mean, we just got out of work, so I haven't done all the research on it. But what I saw was, they were expecting the numbers to come out after lunch, and it did. It came out about maybe 3 hours ago, I think. And so 81, I think it was 81.
That's a lot of people.
81 million people.
And that's awesome.
And it's not just on TV, live on YouTube, live on different websites, Facebook.
That was great.
It was the social media. That's, another way social media played such a huge role is that you don't have to have a TV to watch it live. You could have done it, with the comfort of your phone.
With social media, same thing. I think during the primaries, same thing. I got used to going on there. What are people saying? Writing my own things. And I follow a lot of people in our professional networking sites. And I think we all follow along the same thing. We all have the same profession as far as marketing, public relations, things like that. And I don't know if it's our side of the field that it just lends itself to that, or is it? And again, we only follow the people on social media that we like. We're not going to follow the other side. So we get a very biased, very one-sided view.
Do you guys not follow other Republican? Well, I don't want to say what our parties are, but so you don't follow.
It's pretty obvious.
Do you follow Donald Trump and other people like that to get a sense of?
And I've mentioned before with when I was your age, there's old man Jim coming in. I used to follow it very hard. I mean, we didn't have the social media at the time, but just the conversations and the arguing. Yeah, no, that didn't happen there. But in letters, we had letters magazines wrote to the editor. Ravens, public forums and things like that posted up. So what we did is just conversations. So we'd be talking like this. But the thing with me, a lot of my friends lean the other way. They're right wingers. They're a little, right wing. So then they go that route, and I'd have these conversations where it's me against like 3 people, and it was draining. And eventually, you have other priorities in life, and it's so stressful. There's so many stresses in life, and then this being one of them, additional one, you kind of draw away from that. So I forgot what we were talking about, but old man Jim. But that's one thing that was different back then. It was those. I mean, you still have those conversations, and a lot of times your family, sometimes or close friends, they have different things, and we all come from different places and different experiences, and who knows, it's your parents leaning one way and you rebelling against them, or you seeing like that's wrong, why do we believe this, and questioning that. So that's one thing that I've noticed in life, I guess.
Was there a moment that really stuck out to you guys that you will probably remember, in the next few years about the debate last night?
Not so much in that way, but I just wanted to point out titles and how Hillary Clinton was being addressed as Secretary Clinton and Donald Trump as, Donald Trump or Mr. Trump. And I thought it showed the levels of experience that they had, and the fact that she's held that office and she's been in the political arena, her entire life. And I just thought that it belittled him. I thought that it showed him as lower than her experience wise. And I know that he tried to make it as a negative when he said, you've been fighting ISIS for the last 30 years, which is inaccurate. ISIS has only been, I think, since 12 years, I think. So yeah, I mean, it just showed, I think, the levels of power that they've held.
Yeah, Secretary Clinton, like so much experience in that, and again, she's not perfect, but she has that experience. None of us are perfect, and we want our politicians to make the right decisions, and I feel that she will make the right decision if elected president and do her best, and that's all we can hope for, right? So, anything that you want to add
about what moment stuck out to me?
Yeah.
Well, as soon as they walked in, right, like the first thing you see from what I've learned is that, politicians dress in their colors, right?
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
But Hillary was wearing red and Donald Trump was wearing a blue tie. So that's the first thing that I was like, what's the strategy behind that? Like, why? I wonder if they thought about it. Did they overlook it? Was it intentional? So that was one of the things that I noticed. And I also just, again, Trump was bullying Clinton. He really didn't answer questions, and when they start talking about women's topic, oh my gosh, that was like, I think Hillary really shined in that, and it's crazy. I also noticed that Trump kept mentioning her ads, and we'll talk about it a little bit in a little bit, but those are the things that really stuck out to me, when when they started talking about women and what they were wearing,
the names
Trump's,
that he's called.
Yeah, his stand, and he was like, "Are you okay with Secretary Clinton?" And she was like, she just laughed because of all the nicknames that he's given her. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the women things, and I think it comes back to the Rosie O'Donnell thing, and then he said it in a national thing. He's like, "No, but she deserved it." It's like, really? All those names you've called her?
Yeah, he had no shame in this, even when they were talking about the federal tax returns. He's like, nope. He's like, and I think I'm smart for not, doing.
I use the rules of the country.
Like, this is the man running for president who is showing that money can, depending on how much money you have, you can work your way around the system, which he is running to lead, the free world. It's just insane to me that he would say it with no shame. Like he was proud to say that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and I was pretty shocked when they mentioned that in 1973 he got sued for like racial discrimination in his apartments, and he was like, "We settled that," and it was like
That
what was
his,
it? Yeah, like that they settled it, and then he said that it
didn't
was.
say that
So
didn't
he-
happen.
They
Yeah,
didn't
he
admit
didn't.
guilt.
He didn't apologize for that. The
Yeah.
way Hillary apologized for the emails that we've
Yeah.
been listening to. At the beginning, she didn't apologize.
Yeah.
She would rub it off. She has been for she's been apologizing for them, and she's saying that they're a mistake. And I think she handled it succinctly, and like she said what she needed to say in a short amount of time. Donald Trump did the opposite of that. He didn't apologize for that. He didn't say, what that happened. We messed up. This is what we want to do in the future. He didn't talk about that. And that I think is going to hurt him in the long run.
Yeah. Same thing with when they went along with about the people he hasn't paid. That whole thing of the quality of work. And there was some, again, social media, the memes that came out there. So if you stay at a Trump hotel, you make sure not to pay because you're not satisfied. He'd understand. Yeah. So it was really funny. And that's really messed up, and we've seen those stories throughout the campaign of the people that he screwed over. Yeah. And he's not a nice guy. And I think in the past, speaking from experience, family would vote for the Republican candidate because of moral issues. The pro-life thing, the conservative values, right? And Trump has no conservative values. They're not there. No values. He has no values.
If
exactly.
We're gonna go to Hamilton. He's Burr.
Exactly, and not the cool Burr from the Hamilton musical. Yeah.
No, yeah, he is. He's running for the sake of running. He's not running because he wants to.
Would you say he wants to be in the room
where it happens? Yeah. No, he's doing it for the sake of doing it. He doesn't. He's not running because he wants to make America great again. He is running because he wants money and he wants to build on his brand. Sure. And his personal brand. And we've seen that when he just unveiled his newest hotel, I believe, and he told the media that he was going to. In order to get them out there, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to talk about this, and that." Oh, yeah. He got all the media out there. What he did was promote his new hotel. That's what he wants. He wants to build his brand.
Oh, yeah. He's bragged about how much he's not paid for ads. I mean, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's our fault. And there's going to be studies about this, that we have so much. It's like a reality show. You want to see what he's going to do next. So the cable news networks, 24-hour networks have been on him at all times and give him so much coverage. So that's a sad part of that.
And speaking of ads, he did say that to Hillary. Yeah. He was like, I don't know if maybe I made a mistake by like not advertising so much with you've been spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on your ads and I haven't spent as much. But we'll see. Like he was real sarcastic about it. And speaking of the ads, since he brought them up so much, based on our work experiences and our professional careers, have you guys had a chance to check out the political ads?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have, and because I majored in broadcast journalism, I see it from that perspective. I don't see it as that's they're trying to reach this audience the way someone in public relations would. I see it as a political strategy and who they're trying to not attack, to target, and whether or not they've worked. And I think the most recent one that Hillary, I think, brought out was what he calls women, right? Is that the most recent one? I think so. Brought out?
It came out right immediately thereafter.
Yeah, I think it's come out within the last week.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Or mirrors? You mean mirrors? Or women?
The mirrors one. Yeah, that's when it's the voiceover of Donald Trump saying all the mean things he said, mirrors. And it's I don't know. I mean, what do you think from the public relations perspective?
I was watching both because I really wanted, let me see the difference between the ads. I wanted to be fair, and I noticed, from a public relations standpoint, how the Clinton campaign, right? They are more focused on feelings. Like the first thing you see when you watch the ads, especially mirrors, is like the music just gets you there, and then the image. You see the little girls looking at themselves in the mirror, and what I really admire about the ads is that Hillary is not like telling you what to think. Like the images are speaking for themselves.
True.
Donald Trump's voice is speaking for itself. She's not hating on him because the video is doing everything. Like the little girls are looking at themselves in the mirror, and I like how they were represented. There was a diversity, right. Like different ones. And as they are looking at themselves in the mirror, you just hear, Donald Trump's comments, like women can't be flat-chested, Miss Piggy, like you just hear that. And at the end, in very simple like style, like simple font, it says, is this the president we want for our daughters, or is this the role model we want for our daughters? And it gives you chills, because you just hear those comments, and from someone, that maybe struggled with those things growing up, it's like, wow, that's deep. Juxtaposed with Trump's ads, when you compare them, and it's him speaking, very cool, like he's always been, no facts, just his opinions. Like, I'm gonna bring millions and millions of jobs, and one of the ads was tax reduction. I think that's one of his recent ones. And again, like, it's short, but it's him on a podium doing all the talking with like writing on it, like real cheap. I mean, you could tell there wasn't much production thought into them.
So, one thing I saw with the ads as well, Trump promises, and I think his campaign promises, like the good old days. That's a lot of times where it was a lot better back in the good old days. And it's like, do you remember what was the good old days was about? Women didn't have the same rights that men have. A lot of our, minorities didn't have the same rights that they have now. Homosexuals didn't have the same rights that they have now. That whole thing, I mean, it's just equality for all. We've made so much progress in these last 8 years, and then to go back and regress. But some people remember these good old days, these fictional good old days that never existed. I mean, in the 80s, the crime that he talked about, New York City having so much crime that went down when this mayor came in and cracked down, Giuliani came in and did all this stuff. That was because it was bad. It wasn't these good old days. It was worse, and from personal experience, I've been in big cities and not having to worry about it. I mean, you have this fear of being, I'm going to get mugged or whatever. I'm like, I've been out at 2 a.m. in Chicago, not worried about it. It's been fine. Not that nothing's going to happen, but you don't have to live your life in fear. And that's what the main message, that they drive fear into people, and they want to be protected.
And that's the difference. I think one of the biggest ones between Trump and Clinton is that Trump goes to the past, as you were saying, that he is someone who brings up the past a lot. Clinton emails, Clinton affairs, always bringing up her past.
NAFTA, or
the worst deal in history. He's always bringing up the past. Hillary is for the future.
Sure.
Equality for everybody. I want rights. This is what I want. This is how we're going to continue this, the progress that we've made in America. And that's what she is promoting. That's what she's trying to, to have her campaign around. And it's crazy to see those parallels. And that's what they're driving between, I guess.
Sure.
And it reminds me of the campaigns, the ads, remind me of Parks and Rec. So not everyone has seen Parks and Rec, but when Leslie Knope was running for, what was she running for?
There was a city position.
A city position, one of the positions. She did that ad with Paul Rudd. I don't remember the character.
Yeah.
And so he calls her. He's like, that was such a mean ad. She's like, I literally just got all sound bites of what you've said and put them in a video. And that's what's happening right now.
True.
Clinton is getting sound bites of Trump, things Trump has said in real life, and just put them in an ad.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have to make stuff up.
No.
Like, it's stuff that he's saying.
He does it to himself. Yeah. He does it to himself. And how can you deny something that somebody said or wrote, which he got taken to task about the whole conspiracy between global warming and China, that China made up, it's a hoax. And then immediately on Twitter, people were reposting that. And it's like, it's still there. And there was a thing where like they were deleting it, but it was still there.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, I've never said that. And it's like, you said that. It's right
multiple
there
times,
multiple times. And how can you deny that? So.
Yeah. Another ad that you guys may have watched is Role Models. Did you guys get to see that one?
Can you explain what it is?
Role Models is pretty much similar, like you could tell that it's similarly made as mirrors, but Role Models is pretty much not just girls, it's like little kids, teenagers growing up watching TV. And what are they watching? They're watching
the hatred.
Images of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's like the things he said, and again at the end of the ad, it's that like that black background with the text, is this the role model that we want for our children? And it's like, I don't have kids yet, but like you see it, like it just, you have kids, you know, we don't have kids, but how does that make you feel?
I have cats.
Yeah. She has cats. You have an imaginary cat.
I have imaginary cats.
And Pablo.
And my
Shout
baby.
out Pablo.
Shout
There you
out
go.
to Pablo.
So yeah, I have kids. I have 3 kids, and that's one thing I keep on thinking of. And as I mentioned, you want to progress forward. I have a daughter and I have 2 sons, and I want my daughter to have the same opportunities that my sons have. And I keep reminding her, I'm like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? You can be anything you want to be. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you can be and she, you know, she wants to be a teacher like her mom, and that's fine. You know, my son, I encourage them to follow what they like and what their dreams are. And again, like the whole equal pay. And I think, you know, I have some friends obviously we have those friends on Facebook where like, what's the point? You mentioned the Bernie supporters, you know, that they're not going to go out there and vote. And without their help, we might have a President Trump, you know, who knows, you know, and they need to get that word out there, and they just won't vote. And one thing that was mentioned, I know I'm all over the place, a lot of things to say, but one thing you mentioned in earlier snap as quoted, and I say this a lot, if you're not voting, you have no right to complain. You know, you have no voice. You gave that away. You did not vote. So that's one thing. I don't know if I trumped it up.
No, it's good, but it's true, you know. And there was a moment in the debate where they mentioned that Miss Universe. Alicia Machado, right? What Donald Trump said about her, and now she's like a U.S. citizen, and she's gonna come out and vote. I just hope more people like her, you know, do that, and they turn out the polls. I can't vote yet, and I mean, I'm waiting for the day when like I will actually be there in the polls. But man, I hope those people, if only people would realize the importance of voting, you know, like thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that can vote. They like, we would do anything, you know, to be able to express our opinions. And I'm pretty sure it's the same way for others, but I just hope that people that can vote don't take it for granted, you know, show out to the polls. We need their help. Like, we need it. We can't just sit at home and be like, oh, well, you know,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It does matter, because this is like not just 2 regular candidates, you know, that will be okay or will be great. This is like
2 extremes.
Whew, yeah, they have to see it. I hope they do.
I hear it a lot, and it makes me so sad to hear when people say, and I was talking to Mark and Danny about it today, when they say that their vote doesn't matter. And you hear, you know, the Electoral College and all the super delegates. Okay, I understand that, but it starts at the bottom. Vote for the smaller positions, for the mayor, for senators, for those reps, positions, for your state reps, because they're the ones who determine what your state is. Is it a blue state? Is it a red state? If you go out and vote for every campaign, for every election, you'll get the people that you want in office. Exactly. So there's no small, you know, political office. They're all important to the way you live your life. So that about, you know, your vote doesn't matter. It does at all you know, costs. Like,
that's a really good point as far as selecting your local representatives, your senators, all that kind of stuff. It's very true.
It's perfect. Did you guys? Because today is National Voter Registration Day.
Go register to vote.
Go register to vote.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know when the deadline is to register to vote?
October 11th. I just wrote the press release.
Very good. Very good. I didn't know that. I was going to be like, darn it. Yeah. Awesome. October 11th. So yeah, I'll be definitely out there and voting, and I encourage my sisters also to vote. I will take them out there, and you know, if they need a ride, you know, it's great. We need to get our voices heard. Anything else, Claudia?
No, I'm looking forward to the next debate, and I will definitely be tuning in. You know, what are you guys hoping to see in the next one?
I think, you know, one thing that they were mentioning, I think on NPR and a lot of places, that he didn't see his nonverbals. I don't know where you saw the debate, but the one that I saw was on NBC, and they actually had the split screen the whole time.
So did CNN. I saw it on CNN, and it was a split screen.
I don't know how all the other stations were, but that was very effective. So they'd react, and you'd see Hillary just kind of like, you know, but he'd make his faces and smirk. And there was a funny Twitter comment where it's like, "This is the longest SNL cold open I've ever seen," which is really funny. But that's what it felt like. His face is like he's a parody of himself, and it's very, very sad. But yeah, the next debate, I don't know if we need to have like a viewing party. We just kind of like a popcorn.
Make it on a Saturday or a Friday, please, so that we can, you know,
you got
have
that,
a game.
Country, whoever's in charge of this. But yeah, that's the first debate. Any closing thoughts?
I do want more substance the next debate. I think this one had stuff that has been ongoing for a while. So the emails, the tax returns, I wasn't a huge fan of the last question, which was asking, would you support if you don't win? Would you?
Yeah,
I think that's just a question. Yeah, it's a giveaway question. It's
sure.
Is it
what do they call it? Softball.
A softball,
yeah.
right? Yeah. And I see that as a way to close it out, but we've heard it. We heard it from the GOP ones, where they all have to do it. They say that, they're not going to, but they end up doing it anyways. We've seen that with Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio supporting Trump.
Ted Cruz. What's up with that, Ted Cruz?
I don't know.
I think people were like, wow, Ted Cruz spoke up.
No.
And then he's like, oh, yeah, it's cool.
You
Whatever you said about my dad and my wife, that's cool.
Yeah, and which was the opposite with Jeb Bush and
calling
stuff.
out Ted Cruz. Arm wrestle challenge.
No, but so I thought there's a lot of softball questions, but I would like to see them go more into it. I would like Trump to actually answer questions and give his plans. He hasn't detailed any of his plans, and I'd like to see numbers. I'd like to see facts and stuff like that. So
I'd like to see Trump prepare, because evidently he was traveling out and about while Hillary was at home preparing, right? I feel like I'm hoping that they got a lot of these old issues out of their system, like the emails and the birther and all these things. Just move past that, and in the next one, I would like to see plans. I would like to see concrete solutions. I would like them to discuss immigration, because they did not discuss this one at all. Like, I want them to talk about what they plan to do with our country. I want to hear that. I don't want drama. Like, yeah, it's entertaining, but it's like we've come to that point where we're so close to November, that we need to start seeing who these people are. We need to see value in what they're saying, and no more games, just be serious. It's time to settle down. That's what I want to see in the next one.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. I hope we didn't lose any of you 3 followers. Grandma, please don't unsubscribe. So again, my name's Jim Zavala. You can find me on Twitter at JimZ3.
I'm Claudia, and you can tweet me at Claudia Villemus.
I'm Melinda at Melinda and Claudia.
And that's our show. Thanks for joining us.
Bye. Why do you look so tiny?
Like,
you look like Jim looks like a monster compared to you.
Thank you. I know you're angry, but I have feelings.
She's taking it out on you.
What song is that?
This weird song that came out on Kiss FM this morning that you don't understand anything they say, but it's just really catchy. How long are we gonna do this one? I tried to stop you guys. I was like, guys, it's fine.
Can't stop Melinda's anger.
Anger
leads to something, and hate something.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Do I have a bio?
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do you want lipstick?
No, because then she's been mean to me all day. When we were there at When we were there
we
at the
look
thing.
washed out if we don't put lipstick, at least.
When we were at the.
See, this is why you can't tell Melinda anything.
Okay, do you take this as a negative when someone? When I saw her, we were catching up. She's like, everyone still misses you and this and that. And Claudia, she's like, are you sure she didn't just say that? That's me, right?
I was like, are you sure she didn't? Because people are like that. They're like, oh, everybody misses you. And then they turn around, they're like, no one misses you,
Claudia.
You couldn't just give it to me.
Lipstick.
Lipstick.
No, you really do have lipstick.
Is it gone?
No. Show the camera. No, you still got it.
It's not even recording.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Every time.
Is it gone?
No, it's not gone.
How the heck did I get lipstick on my mouth?
Go like this? No, the next tooth.
Wrong tooth.
Yeah. No, like pretend right here. There you go. Give me your nail.
I would just look at my phone.
There you go.
Well, that's
I'm
really
not.
bad.
I'm not lying to you.
I bit my lip and I took some lipstick with it. Thank you.
How does that work?
Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Since you're kind of do you want to be a little bit?
Mic check.
How are you?
I've got the nuns.
Okay. Check 1 2 1 2. You know that's a description in the YouTube.
I've got the nuns.
No. It's Jim old man Jim likes old people stuff. Melinda likes musicals, and Claudia meows like a cat.
Like a cat.
That's your.
I will attract all the cat lovers in the world.
Yep, that's your cat demographic.
They will be my minions.
That way we reach all of them, I think.
Yeah.
My diversity day.
And tip.
I don't want to be racist, but if I had to say it, you probably wouldn't be a good driver. Oh man, am I a woman?
Who is that, Mike?
Dwight.
Dwight. Oh man, that's screwed up.
Meow 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 meow.
All three of us. A tradition to
It's
clap.
all three of us.
1 2 3. All right.
Yeah.
Ruined it. Mosquitoes. She's one of our librarians.
Say it on the podcast.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Kinda Sorta Maybe show. And I got a text message. Woohoo!
Meow 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 meow.